Well, do you have kids or maybe grandkids who ask questions about dying? I mean, it's never an easy conversation. They're so matter-of-factly about those questions, aren't they?
Right. My 4-year-old is very much into those right now. But we reassure them, and there's reassurance for us as well, that our loved ones will be taken care of when our time comes.
Attorney Jim Blazek returns from estate planning law, the law group of Blazek and Gregg. Good to see you, Jim. Thanks for stopping in.
Welcome back, Jim.
Very good to see both of you.
Yeah, we've talked about a number of topics when you've been on the blend. Today I want to touch on estate planning a little bit.
That'd be great.
And let's cover that. But define it for us. What is estate planning?
Estate planning is different for different professionals. From an attorney standpoint, estate planning is developing a written plan to transfer property at time of death in a way that saves expenses, saves attorney's fees, and most importantly, protects your family.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Cal.
I was going to say revocable trusts. We've been hearing more and more about those lately, but I don't understand what it's all about. Can you explain that?
You bet. There are many ways to transfer property at time of death, and old-style planning is through will planning. Will transfers property at time of death, and another strategy, a more popular strategy, if you will, is a revocable living trust. A revocable trust is just a set of instructions that would say, do these things when I am alive and well, do these things if I'm alive but disabled, and do different things when I pass away. And it's a trust you can change anytime you want, but most importantly, it can be designed to protect your family when you pass away. And by that I mean it could protect your children if your surviving spouse remarries. It could protect your children if they later get a divorce. It could protect your grandchildren for when your child dies to make sure that the property you give your children goes to your grandchildren.
There are so many different scenarios that maybe you don't think about, you know, because life does happen after we depart the earth. But what's the difference between a trust and a will? Can you kind of break that down a little bit more for us?
You bet. They are both transfer mechanisms for your property time of death. I would say a will is a transfer document. When I have a will, it just says where it goes when I die. It goes to my wife or my kids, typically outright.
Yeah.
Well, a trust is a document that also transfers property at death, but it avoids probate, and it can be designed to protect property in the hands of your loved ones. That protection component has been ignored for years in estate planning, and it's the protection component that really is most important to people, wanting to protect property once it's transferred to their loved ones.
So does that mean, in essence, a trust is better than a will?
For most people, I believe a trust is better than a will. We write wills, we write trusts. The estate planning attorney should match the tool, that is a technique, what type of document you want or strategy you want, with the goals you have. And so first of all, the attorney has to listen to a client and see what their goals are, what they want to achieve, and match the right tool with their goals.
So a trust could be maybe more specific than wills?
I would say that a trust is much more elaborate.
Yeah.
The trust covers many more contingencies. If this, what happens here?
Sure.
You know, so many possibilities are covered with the trust that are just ignored with typical traditional will-based planning.
And do trusts need to be updated? I mean, wills need to be updated. Are trusts in that the same area where they need to be updated occasionally?
Well, we draft our trusts so they have a long shelf life. We like to draft trusts that they're good in the short term, but also good in the long term. But there are two situations that demand a change. If your goals change, or if the law changes. For example, there was a massive law change in 2013 that changes the way most married couples should do their trust-based planning. We sent out thousands of letters to our clients in 2013 advising them of the changes that were made. And so that's a big change. That was a legal change, a tax change that quite frankly allows people to do much better planning than we could have done before 2013.
I've got a job, I've got kids, I want to take care of them, but I'm not paying attention to these changes.
Well, they seem complicated. It seems really complicated.
So do you stay on top of these things? Do you notify your clients when they happen? Is that one of the benefits of working with you?
You bet. All our law firm does is estate planning. So that's estate plan creation, estate plan maintenance, and estate plan administration. We make it a point to send all of our clients a strategic planning memo every year advising them of any law changes that they should be aware of. Because we know you're too busy. You're too busy running life and enjoying your life. You should not have to worry about keeping up with the tax changes for estate planning.
Yeah, and quite frankly, your motto is better planning made easy. So how do you really make that easy to get that planning done?
Because it doesn't sound easy.
No, make it as simple as possible, right?
Better Planning Made Easy incorporates a free initial consultation. People can come in and visit with us for free to determine what is the best strategy for them. And we don't charge clients for phone calls, so we invite their calls free of charge. We assign each of our trust clients their own funding paralegal, a paralegal that is assigned to them to transfer any property they would have to themselves as trustees of their trust. That's for your current property or any property you might buy in the future. You buy a new house in a year, 2, or 10, your paralegal will always get that reassigned to your trust, and there's no charge for that.
And no charge for the phone calls either. Thank you for that. Some people worry about that. The last time you were here, we talked about a set of workshops that have passed. You have another set coming up, not till July, but if people want to kind of get that on their calendar now, if they're thinking ahead, because we do need to think ahead about these things, what can they expect from those workshops?
Well, the workshops, first of all, we answer questions. We invite questions from the audience so they can get any question that they would have answered free of charge. They can kind of kick the tires, see if they like us, see if they like our process. And they can be made aware of all the tax changes, particularly in 2013, and be made aware of what better planning can be, what it could look like for them, and how it could help achieve their goals.
Yeah, well, Jim, there's a lot more information that you cover in those seminars, those workshops that we can cover in 5 to 6 minutes. Hopefully we can get you in before the next set of workshops. But for more information, blazekandgregg.com. It's a great place to start. That's your website, or just call 496-3432 because estate planning can be complicated, but you do make it simple.
Thank you.
And don't charge for phone calls either.
Amen.
No phone calls.
Thank you for
Thanks,
being
Jim.
here, Jim. All right, on yesterday's show,